We did it. We are here. We've reached a new year. Can't believe it's been 3 years. Here's to the start of year 4. This is wild. Happy Podiversary, everyone. Let's get into it. Take 71. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media, you can do so by following me over on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft, or on Instagram and Threads as Piece4PeaceCrafting. And if you like music, you can follow along to the Spotify playlist that goes with this podcast, and that is Piece4PeaceCrafting podcast playlist over on Spotify. How's everyone doing? It's been 2 weeks. I'm excited to be back with you all. It's crazy to think that this is a Podiversary episode. I can't believe it's been 3 years of doing this little YouTube channel, and we are now at the start of year 4. That is like mind-blowing to me. But for those of you who have been along for the ride since the beginning, thank you so much. It is greatly appreciated. And for those of you who have joined along the way, thanks. And if this is your first time watching and you enjoy the content, you can do all that fun YouTube stuff like comment and subscribe, because we want to keep building our fun little community that we have here on YouTube. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since my last episode. It's Saturday, October something. Maybe it's the 7th. Who knows? It is officially fall here in the city. I got up this morning to walk the dog, and it was a smooth 43 degrees outside. And yeah, I mean, I'm fully embracing it. I think while I don't want summer to leave, I am excited. It is exciting to have the cool weather start to like creep in. Those like crisp morning and evenings have been really fun the past couple of days. Yeah, and it's like our time to shine as crafters, right? And so I've sort of traded in my morning dips in the lake with my roommates for now taking longer walks in the morning with Kendrick, just like along the path by the lake, which has been really nice. So while it's cool, he's happy just to be outside and getting a little bit more exercise. And I'm still taking in the views of like being near the lake, being near the water, but not actually getting in it because it is definitely too cold. There was a day within these past 2 weeks that it was like 83 or something, and for some reason we were all home. I can't remember if it was the weekend or not, in the middle of the day, and we were doing some stuff, and we're like, oh, let's just like go over to the lake for a little bit, because there were people out and about just like chilling and hanging out. And we thought that we were gonna just like jump in and jump out, make it like our last hurrah. We all put our feet in the water, and it was freezing cold already. So we scratched that. It was nice to at least put our feet in, and yeah, it's officially too chilly for my taste to be getting in the water. I know some people like to do those like polar plunge type things. That ain't for me. Yeah. So other than that, the 2 weeks have been kind of crazy. 1 week was really stressful for me, just like having to move some things out of a storage unit and downsize and all that jazz that no one here cares about. But I'm happy that that's over and things have been taken care of. And yeah, I will say that that is like some stress that has been taken away, which is really nice. And I feel like I can gear up for other things. So the past 2 weeks, I have been doing some crafting, which has been great. And yeah, excited to share all those fun things with you all. So I have 2.5, I'm gonna say, FOs and 2 whips and a little bit of piecemeal, which is fun. And yeah, that's gonna be our Podiversary episode. So let's start with our half first. So if you were around for the last episode, you know that I made the Unbearable hoodie for a local yarn shop here in Chicago, the Blooming Spindle. And I took some FO pics. Maybe I'll pop one in here of me wearing it. And I took it over to the shop, which was really cool. Actually, I'll pop in the photo too of how they displayed it. And Robin, who's the owner, was really sweet and super happy that it was done. So I got to hang out with her for a little bit and give her the sweater so she could display it in the shop, which was really cool. Something I hadn't had happen before. So it was neat to just like see it in the window. But while I was there, she had just got in the new base from Les Garçons. So that sweater was knit in Les Garçons yarn, and she had just gotten the new base that is the collab with Woolcott yarns, and it's the fluff base. And she was saying that she wanted just like a swatch knit up for the shop. She didn't have time to do it. Would I be interested in like doing a swatch for her? And I was like, yes, absolutely. So we decided that I would do it in, that's my tape to make sure the end doesn't fall off or come undone, in the mist colorway. And so this yarn it's a sport weight, and it's 219 meters for 50 grams, and it's 55% baby alpaca, 18% fine merino wool, 17% mulberry silk, 10% yak, and according to the label, it's 100% dreamy. And I have to say, I completely agree. I knit this little swatch, so this is kind of my half. I knit this little swatch for the shop. So I put the little yarn overs in there, a 5, US 5, so whatever that is, to do it. And I think the stitch definition is really beautiful, and it is super dreamy. I really want to do Max's Moon Bumps shawl wrap number. And so in one of their previous episodes, they were saying that you could substitute the Moondrake Fua Fua for this. And so I was like, let me just swatch and see where my gauge is on that. I'm a little bit bigger, I think. I need to measure one more time. But it's fine because it's a wrap, so like who cares if it's a little bit bigger. But I really like how this plays together, and so I'm excited to take this over to the shop and actually decide some colors that I want to use for that. I think in my head, what I want to do is take some of my hand spun, because that pattern is knit with 2 strands of Fua Fua and a strand of, every time I want to say this company, I always forget the name, Spin Cycle, sweet goodness. But I want to use some of my hand spun to do it and use some of the fluff together just to see like what that would look like. So I think that'd be really cool. So I'm excited that that's done. I'm gonna take this back over to the shop for her. I might do one more swatch that's unblocked just so people have a comparison to see what it looks like. Swatches don't take long for me, so just knitting that up is like, you know, an episode or something of the British Baking Show or something. The other thing I did was, that is adding to my half, was I did another little swatch in the Plotulopi for the Prairie Skies sweater that I want to do. And so if you remember last time, I was saying that I used the recommended crochet hook size, and I was like slightly under the gauge for it. And so I went up a hook size. So I think it was a G, I went up to an H, and perfectly on gauge. So that's what I'm gonna do. This was just my little swatch. So I need to make 31 more of these because I'm gonna use my swatch as one of the squares in the yoke of the pattern. Yeah, little swatching. Someone commented and said like, you're better than me for swatching because like who has the time for that? And I find that I learn a lot just by doing it for myself. And I don't want to put in the time to knit something, especially if I don't know that designer very well. I haven't knit anything of theirs, and it's a garment. I want it to fit, or I want to at least know like where I am in comparison to what they're doing. Obviously with, I think I've said this before, like knitting Max's patterns or Stephen West patterns that are garments, I typically don't swatch for really anymore because I've knit a bunch of them and I know like where my gauge is with their stuff, and so I can just kind of go into it without really thinking about it. Now, at some point that is going to come back to bite me in the butt, but for now it's working out, and so I'm going to run with it. So those are my first two like little halves, those two little swatches. Moving right along, the next thing I have is I finished my KnitPicks Felici in the colorway Solstice Socks. So these sort of match one of the last colors of the ribbing dipped into the gray a little bit, but that's quite all right with me. It's only a few stitches. These are just a pair of vanilla socks. I knit my socks on a US 1, 68 stitches, toe up, Turkish cast on, and then just do the ribbing until the ancestors tell me to stop. Yeah, these are great. I knew that I can put one of them down. I knew that I was going to, or just like as I was knitting them, I hit the middle of the gray where I was going to place my heel, and decided that I would pick up for the gray and then continue the heel there. And I think they turned out pretty well. Yeah, I mean, pretty standard for me. I like doing vanilla socks. They're my commuter project, something small I can throw in my backpack and just like mindlessly do. Yeah, my cut-in heel, I used to do, so there's a tutorial, if I can remember, I'll link it below. There's that Curvy Wurvy tutorial on how to do an afterthought heel, and I've always used that. I felt like so many people use it and recommend it, and it was like super easy for me to understand how to do it. And I think in that one, she says to like, you know, when you're unraveling the yarn, go to like one stitch toward the end to unravel, just so you have, you know, you can eliminate some of that the holes that can happen. And I started just like testing out, seeing what if I did two, so like two on each needle, not unraveling on either side. And I'm finding that it helps to close up that little space a little bit better for me. So everything's a little bit trial and error. I say, you know, test things out, see if you like it. If you don't, then don't do it. You know, take what you can, leave what you can't. Yeah, so that's been working out for me. Again, these are, yeah, just another fun pair of vanilla socks that I can add to the mix. While I do like a pattern sock, vanilla is like way easier for me because I literally don't have to pay attention. All right, next thing. Are we going too quickly? So I was working on, which I didn't bring the pattern page in here, was working on my Frank Shawl by Joji Locatelli. And once I finished the Unbearable hoodie, this sort of became my, it became like my main project that I really focused on. Not that I was monogamous by any means, but it became the project that I was working on the most just because I wanted to get it done. And so, dun, 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 dun. This is the finished shawl. It is glorious. I'm so obsessed with the colors. So this is all knit using Rose Hill yarns, and I picked up this yarn while I was at Knit City Montreal this year, earlier in the year, in May, I believe. And so my colors were, here I can show them to you. I'll try and hold them all up. So let me just do this. So Silted Rock was my main color. And these skeins, so this is Rose Hill yarns, and it's their fingering weight. It's 463 yards for 100 grams. It's a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. And this has about 463 yards. I think I just said that, 400 grams. And so this was my main color, and I have 21 grams of that left over. And then my contrast colors were these three. So the first one is Spring Thaw, the next one is Rock Melt, and this one is Thawsome. And of the Spring Thaw, I had 46 grams left over. For the Rock Melt, I had 42, and for the Thawsome, I had 31. So let's just chat really quickly about, for those that have been here, you know. For those that are new, let's chat about it. So the cool thing about this shawl was it was knit in sections. So you did one triangle, connected them in the middle. So you put them on hold. So this was my start. So this was the lighter color, and it should, in the pattern, it's written to fade one section to the next. I chopped up the fade just because I thought that it would work for my taste a little bit more. So this was section 1, and then I put those on hold and went over to section 2. We can see those colors are getting a little bit more saturated, darker, love that. And then how do we do it? You like don't place them on hold, you just like pick up some stitches and then start going to do your last section, which has, okay, when I was doing this, I got so excited because the first 2 sections had been, you know, just, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 of the contrast color. And I'm like, oh great, this isn't gonna take me very long. And so I got to the end of the 4th and I'm like, cool, this is like the end, I'm almost done. And I didn't realize that the last section actually has 6 contrast colors, so it's a little bit bigger. I will say that for me, in my head and looking at the schematic, I knew the shape of the shawl, but I wasn't, for some reason in my head, it didn't compute how it would lay. And so for me, I like, you know, wearing my shawls, I scrunch them up a little bit and then I wrap one side. And oh my gosh, where's the end? It's hiding. And then I do the other. Oh, actually, that looks better than when I was doing it in the mirror. And so, you know, it can drape, or no, if it's a crescent, it like has a fun little drape. If it's a triangle, it has a little point. But since this one is more flat on the bottom, it's looking a little bit like a, actually it looks fine right now. So I guess I will just stop talking. What I really wanted is for the green to be in the front and the other colors to be sort of accented. That's not the end I wanted. To be accented on the sides. And I'm completely getting that, which is really cool. Since it's fingering weight, it is really lightweight, perfect for this time of year where the season is changing and we're getting into that fall weather. And it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a schlanket by any means, but it is a big enough shawl where you feel like there's something substantial, but it's lightweight enough where you could just like throw it on with a short sleeve, whatever, and still feel like you're a little bit warm. Because of the nature of the construction though, I find that if you are a person that likes to, let me just make sure, yeah, likes to wear it around your shoulders, or you just want to wear it around the house, it's perfect for that because, you know, it comes to a little sort of point on the two ends and it just lays and then covers the back quite nicely. So that's really nice. You could also just give it a little, look how perfectly those lined up. A little toss and feel yourself and be cute. I don't know what else to say about it. It's all garter stitch. It's super easy. I personally think it's really beginner friendly. So if you, I wouldn't even say adventurous, just like if you feel like you're a beginner and you're ready to like take a little next step, because the construction is, you know, a little bit in pieces, by no means is it hard to understand or you won't be able to grasp any of the concepts. It is all garter stitch. You're doing some make ones and some decreases and some yarn overs. It's pretty simple. I shouldn't say simple. That makes it seem like it's not intimidating. I think that's a better way of putting it. It's definitely not intimidating, super intuitive. You know, you have your markers, you go, you do all the things that you need to do. So I would say 10 out of 10, give it a try. This is the Frank Shawl by Joji Locatelli. I loves it. I think it's really cool. I'm excited to wear it. And yeah, I gotta take some FO pictures of it now that it is done. And since I'm wearing a sweatshirt or a hoodie today, I don't need to wear this. The Rose Hill yarn, chef's kiss, so beautiful. The colors are 10 out of 10 for me. I've talked about that a bunch on here every time I show it. And even just working with it, I was really excited just looking at the colors that like, there's something about the saturation and the variegation that's really beautiful in the yarn. So check out Rose Hill, check out this pattern. Love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Alrighty, moving right along. So if you've been here, you know, once some socks are off, another pair of socks have to be on. This time around, I did not, oh, sorry, we're moving into whips, FYI. This time around, I did not cast these on as soon as I got them in the mail because I was trying to finish other things and like I wasn't really in a rush. But this is the next installment of the Woolens And Nosh Mystery Yarn Club. So that is a monthly club where you don't know what the colors are gonna be. It's all self-striping. I choose the fingering weight, so it's the superwash Targhee base. So that's 90% superwash Targhee, 10% nylon. It's a 3-ply, 411 yards for 100 grams, and it comes with a corresponding mini. So the color this time around, try to take one out of the bag, is this, and it's called 80s Summer Mixtape, which is so fun. And with my self-striping, I like to, especially if it's just like coming in one hank, I like to wind it up, separate them into 2 balls, and then go from there so that I can get them to match. The mini for this one is black. And here is where I am with those. I'm loving these colors so much. She's shown them, so I don't feel bad showing this. So here's how those are knitting up. These are really cool. Again, on US ones, toe up, Turkish cast on, I cast on 14, go up to 68, and then just knit, 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 knit. I'm maybe an inch away from putting the markers for my heels, but I'm really loving the colors, the stripes, and then the mini stripe, or are we calling that a micro stripe? Are so fun. I think this little teal and the gray with the yellow, oof, so good. And then this little mint, beautiful. So these are 80s summer mixtape. I posted these in my stories on Instagram with some fun Prince 80s music. Yeah, they're super fun, really bright, and yeah, they just make me so happy. I'm really excited to get these done. I think I'm gonna bring them along with me. Yeah, they should be done by that trip. To Rhinebeck in a couple of weeks. I know I don't really talk about those things on here very much. It's like it's very last minute or after the fact, but excited to go to Rhinebeck again this year and Woolen Folk. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get these done so that I can wear them while I'm there. All the self-striping are coming out for that trip. Yeah, should be a blast. So that's the Woolens And Nosh Mystery Yarn Club. This is the color for, we're in October, so this is for September. These are living in my mushroom beautiful sister bag. I love these bags. I have a few, actually I have a Chicago one somewhere. I should pull that one out and use that. Yeah, check out Beautiful Sister. They're also linked below because I love them. All right, that's that. And then my last, is that true? Yes, my last whip that I'm working on is I pulled back out, and this is living in an Allegheny Fiber Arts bag. I got this one, so good. I got this at a yarn con this year. Since they were back, it's a huge sweater bag. It has a pocket on the inside for all of your things that you may need. So this is, if you all remember, this is the Yesteryears sweater. Pay no attention to the lines. My printer was having a moment. By Maxim Sear. So happy to have this back. Just like working on it. And I'm knitting this on the Le Garçon British Aran. And that is 75% BFL wool and 25% Massam. So it's a non-superwash, and it's some yards per 100. It's 175 yards for 100 grams. Yeah, so my colors are Louis Shade and the Natural. And the last time you all may have seen this, I had finished the yoke and the body, and I was going to come back to it and do the sleeves. And so I picked up the sleeves and I've started doing those. So this looks a little bit of a mess for right now. So this is, oh, I'm so happy to be doing this again. This is the yoke. It has this beautiful color work on the top. And then I've started the sleeves. So I'm doing them 2 at a time. And I'm about halfway through the decreases. I think for this, I'm gonna do a couple decreases less just because the way I want the fit of the sleeves to be. So again, this is, the main color is Louis Shade and the contrasting color is the Natural. I think too, I'm going to add the Natural on the cuffs and on the hem, just because I have a lot of it left over, and I want to use a little bit more of it, and so I'll just give them some fun little pops. I like doing my sleeves 2 at a time just because I don't have to go back and do the other one. I can also make sure that they end up being the same length, and it makes it easier to try on for me, just so I don't have to think about it as much. I know some of you have asked for me to do a tutorial just on how I pick up for doing sleeves 2 at a time, and I will say that that is recorded, and I just need to put it together and upload it. It's not like walking you through how to knit the sleeves because garments are all patterned differently, but it is just showing how I like to pick up to start that process. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you. Yeah, I think that it's helpful for me, obviously, because that's the way that I do it. But yeah, I know some people had been asking, and so Yes, I did record it. Yes, it will be up sometime soon. So give it a look if you want. Again, it's just how I do it. Take what you can, leave what you can't. Yeah, loving this sweater. Hoping too that this is done by the time I leave, which just based on how I was doing things recently, I think that I can totally get that done. Yeah, it's like a week and a half to finish the sleeves and the body, and I've already done some of the body, so it shouldn't be too bad. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to record, I think the weekend of Rhinebeck is supposed to be a weekend that an episode comes out, and so what I'm gonna try to do is record right before I leave, and then it'll still come up on Saturday, so that Saturday of the festivities, the episode will be out. Then I don't have to like think about it or be like, oh my gosh, I didn't record anything this weekend, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, you will see if that actually got done or not. But I think I can do it. We're gonna push for it. And then, yeah, if you're at Rhinebeck and you see me walking around, please feel free, or at Wool Folk, please feel free to come up and say hello. It's always nice going to these events and meeting friends of the pod and chatting with people and just like getting to know the community a little bit more. I mean, that's literally why I sit down in front of the camera and chat to you all, is to try to build better community, right? We all love this world of crafting, and so if we're out in the wild, it's nice to meet the people that are along for the ride, if you will. All right, so that's all the makes. I just have a couple piecemeal things really quickly to show. It's not very much. So my sister went recently to Paris, and I know, ooh, fancy. I've never been, really want to go. And she was like, oh, it's so, you know, it's nice to travel and you're so easy to shop for because all you have to do is find like a yarn shop and bring you something back. And I'm like, great, I'm glad that you know that about me. And so while she was there, I don't know the name of the shop that she went to, but she did pick up some fun little items for me. So these two actually, and I showed a swatch of that Seaside Tee that I want to make using some of this Fonty yarn. This one is the super tweed, and it has wool and mohair in it, so it's a 95.5. Really pretty. And this one is the BB merino, and this one is 100% wool in this beautiful yellow. And then the last color is this Lang yarns, and it's a superwash merino, and it's 98% superwash merino and 2% polyester. I don't know how many, these are all 50 grams. So this one's 70 meters. This one is 200, and this one is 105. So these are just gonna go to the wall behind me. At some point they'll become something, but I thought that was really nice of her to bring me those back. And then a lovely friend, viewer, commented that when I took that trip to Virginia Beach, and I didn't have time to go to a yarn shop, she commented it and said, oh, that's really silly that you came all the way out here and you weren't able to go. Like, I would love to send you something so that you at least have something from the area, which I thought was really kind. So I've asked if I could share their name. So Emily, thank you. And she sent over just the the coolest package. And new to me dyer. So this is Sheep Graffiti in the Socket Rocket. It's an 80/20, so superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And this is a 2-ply, and this is in the colorway Pumpkin Latte. So cool. She knows I love orange. So cool. And the second one was Geek-tastic Fibers. I love the little tag. Here it says, with great yarn comes great responsibility. And this is a self-striping, so Geek-tastic Fibers. And this is a self-striping, and it's called the Meisner Brother, or Missner Brothers. I don't know. But I love the colors. It's giving rainbow, or it looks like. So we'll find out when we knit that up. Maybe once I'm done with my, why can't I speak? Once I'm done with the Mystery Yarn Club socks, I will cast these on, and these will be my travel project. Because I need to start thinking about what I'm gonna bring to, just as like little things to have around. So thank you so much. Love a little bit of piece mail. This will get added to the stash. This will probably get cast on soon. Yeah, I gotta find something. This says shawl to me, just because that orange is so fun. And the speckles are really good too in there. So check those out. I definitely need to go now that I've shown them and follow both of those makers. And she also sent over, which are super cute, these fun little needle stoppers. Let me flip them around so that you can, I'll just take them out of the bag. There are little donuts with little sprinkles. So I thought those were fun. So thank you. We'll definitely be adding those to a project soon. Actually, I'll put them on the socks while I'm making them. That will be fun. All right, so that is that. The last thing I have is our music rec for this week. So I was going through albums, and this episode I'm going to recommend this Peggy Lee album. It is A Natural Woman. I think it's, oh, does it have the year? I looked it up and then I obviously forgot because brain not working. Or I want to say it's 69. Someone will figure it out. Great album. The songs I would recommend from here are All of a Sudden, My Heart Sings. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, so fun. And, oh, what was my third one? Oh, Spinning Wheel. Hilarious. So, All of a Sudden, My Heart Sings, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and Spinning Wheel from Peggy Lee's A Natural Woman. Go jam out. Have a little jazzy morning or afternoon, evening. I will definitely add those to the playlist over on Spotify. Again, if you have trouble finding that, you can always send me a message. The easiest is on Instagram, because then I can directly message you back and send you the link for it. YouTube gets a little crazy. I don't want people hacking into the playlist again and deleting all of the content that when we used to be able to all add to it. Share, so send me a message over on Instagram, and yeah, I can send it to you if you have trouble finding it. Other than that, that is it for this episode. Again, thank you all for tuning in, coming back. If it's your first time, you've made it this far, thank you so much. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's been 3 years of doing this, and so we're on to year 4. I'm super excited for all of the makes, all of the learning, all of the new friends that are going to come along, all the new people to meet, festivals to be going to as we continue to move forward. And yeah, just thank you to everybody. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if people weren't interested, and you guys totally make it worth it, and I have fun doing it, so that's great. Yeah, other than that, I will see you all right before Rhinebeck, or I will see you at Rhinebeck. Kendrick has a birthday coming up, so he's going to be turning 2 between episodes, which is crazy to me. Yeah, that's wild. He's definitely growing up. Our little baby's growing up. I would show him to you right now, but he is actually doing what he is supposed to be doing and sitting and just lying and chilling on the floor right now. He'll be back, don't worry. I have some things that I want to make for him now that it's getting colder, a couple dog sweaters that I want to cast on. So hopefully those makes will be coming soon. And yeah, let's continue being creative, making all the fun things, sharing ideas with one another. Yeah, let's keep getting excited about, what I just heard someone say, like, I wish I could remember where it was from. Like, we have the ability to make something out of nothing. Like, we can just take, these fibers in whatever form they're coming in and, make something out of them. And that's a really cool thing. It's like a superpower that we all have. And so let's try to embrace that a little bit more in this new year of the podcast. So until I see you all next time, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.